Yo, what is going on, guys? Bobby here, and today we got another video for you guys. So yesterday we made a how to be a pro video, and we do have a second part coming out. We're probably going to be turning that into a series, so I definitely stay tuned. A lot of you guys commented about the server. We do have one in the making. We're going to release it when the second how to be a pro video comes out. So just stay tuned for that. When you guys want to be in the server, just make sure you watch that video. Server will be in the link in the description, and the rest is history. But today we have a really cool video for you guys. Today we have a top 5 brawlers in the meta. Now recently there were 2 balance changes. There was a balance change a couple days ago, and then in the middle of the night Supercell decided to release an emergency balance change, which rarely happens. I believe it is the first or second time it's ever happened, and there was definitely a lot of changes. So we're not going to go too in depth with a lot of the changes if those brawlers aren't in the top 5. But what we're going to do instead is talk about that in a later video and talk about the best brawlers in the game right now. Now, there are about 8 brawlers which I think are above the rest of the other ones. There's S tier brawlers, A tier brawlers, and then the rest I find are B and C right now. And instead of doing a top 5, I made a top 5 and I have 3 honorable mentions. But since they're the top 8 brawlers and they're just a whole tier above everyone else, I thought we can include all of them. So I'm going to have 3 honorable mentions for you guys and then the top 5 brawlers. So with that being said, let's hop into the honorable mentions and let's show you guys what the top 5 and kind of top 8 brawlers in the game are. So our first honorable mention is going to be Tara. Now Tara is actually one of the elite brawlers and has been for a while in competitive, but now in ladder she's slowly creeping her way up balance after balance. So a few things about Tara is her super is top 2 in the game, obviously with Jean, the 2 most just game-changing supers that you can have in Brawl Stars, Tara and Jean. One of them belongs to Tara, and Tara's honestly might be the best. She can change the game literally at any time. She can make a bunch of plays happen. She's really good against tanks, which is part of the current meta, which we're actually going to speak about in a later video, what exactly the meta is right now, because it's really odd actually. We're probably going to do that in tomorrow's video. But anyway, she's really good against tanks, which is half the meta. She does excel in Brawl Ball, which is the most played mode outside of Showdown, I believe, and the most important competitive mode. So obviously that's a huge plus. She is good against the current meta brawlers as well. So the current brawlers that are in the meta, i.e. the rest of the brawlers I'm going to be talking about in this video, she does excel against the rest of them, or majority of them as well. And finally, her only bad part is she is not good at range. So you're never going to see her in bounty, or if you do, it is a random playing Tara for absolutely no reason. Don't use Tara in bounty. She doesn't do well against Brocks, Pipers. She gets 2 or 3 taps. She doesn't really have the range to compete with them. So just keep things mid tier, or keep things playing against tanks. Try and stay playing Brawl Ball or Gem Grab with Tara. And that is going to be it for Tara. Let's move into the next brawler. Our next brawler that we're going to be talking about is going to be Frank. So the next honorable mention goes to him. I'd probably put Tara above Frank right now, because Frank is kind of a double-edged sword. Frank is really interesting. So Frank can either be amazing or terrible for your team, and here's why. So Frank is definitely the best tank in the game right now. You can argue Rosa is also a good tank, but Frank is definitely above Rosa at the current time outside of Siege, where even Frank is super good at Siege right now. He is the only brawler in the game with 10k plus HP, obviously due to his sponge star power, but even if not, if he doesn't have that on, he still has 10k HP, or near 10k HP, sorry. And he does have a top 5 super in the game, which is really easy actually to reverse. A lot of people can, by reverse I mean stun or get rid of. There's a lot of things that counter Frank, which is why he's never really reached the top part of the meta, which is not why he's never really dominated the game, because he has so many counters. But he definitely is a really good brawler and deserves to be in the honorable mentions. Now the only reason he is in top 5 is because, as I said earlier, he is a double-edged sword. And on top of him being a good brawler, unfortunately something he does do is he really charges your opponent's super. And he can charge an entire team super just by himself, which is a really scary thought considering that you have to tank a lot of bullets to move up and get position. So that is the reason why Frank is not going to be top 5 and he's just going to be an honorable mention. Let's move into the next game and show you guys our last honorable mention for today's video. So going into our last brawler for the honorable mentions, we have Spike. Now Spike has always been kind of a top 10 brawler. He's actually always been top 5, but he kind of moved out and out as things like Tick became meta, or Sandy, or Jean. He moved up and up because he's kind of a squishy brawler. Well, he isn't kind of a squishy brawler, he is a squishy brawler. Second squishiest in the game, I believe, or tied for second, or whatever it is. But he's always kind of been in that top 10. He's always been a fairly good brawler. So let's talk about why he is in the honorable mentions. So Spike a very diverse brawler. You can do a lot of things with Spike. Very good in Brawl Ball, good in Gem Grab, can be played in Heist, even can be played in Bounty. I wouldn't recommend it, but he could be, and obviously Siege he's really good in. He melts tanks, which is half the meta right now is tanks, so that's obviously a huge plus, the fact that he can just absolutely melt any tank in the game. He is very high skill cap, one of the highest skill cap brawlers in the game, 100%. He is very, very good. And skilled players such as OG, if you guys see OG playing Spike when Spike is meta, you can't beat it. He's absolutely unbelievable with him. Good in almost all modes. I've already spoken about that one. The only issues with Spike, he's got a couple, is he's very squishy. So brawlers like Gene and Tick, and even Frank sometimes can do a pretty good job facing him. And then obviously he's bad against the brawlers in the meta. A few of them I just named, Tara being another one. And then future brawlers that you guys haven't seen that are going to be in the top 5. We don't want to spoil them now. So let's hop into it. We're about to get into our top 5. This rounds out our honorable mentions of Spike, Frank, and Tara. Let's head into the number 5 spot and show you guys what the number 5 brawler in the game is. Okay, so coming in at number 5, we have my favorite brawler in the game, Gene. Now, I do have a little bit of bias towards Gene. I probably would have put him number 4. I consulted a few other pros while making this list. I don't do it on my own. I like to get a lot of people's opinions, kind of form it all into one, which is what most YouTubers do nowadays, which is a really smart strategy. And we decided to put Gene at number 5 instead of number 4. But to be honest, Gene is probably the most well-rounded brawler in the game, such as Spike. You can play him in any mode. The only one I wouldn't recommend playing him in is Heist. You can even play Gene really well in Duo Showdown and in Showdown. He has a top 2 super in the game along with Tara. Probably the second best super. Definitely the best gem grab super though in the game, 100%. He can change the game just like Tara at any time in the game. Just one super can change everything, make things a 3-on-2, give you 10 gems, give you the ball, destroy their tank and gem. You can pull the robot and siege. There's a lot you can do with this super. Good in all modes. I've already covered that. He is definitely by far the best gem carrier in the game. That pull is just lethal. You don't even have to have him as a gem carrier. You can have him as a lane. Just the threat of the pull keeps them back. Absolutely lethal to have. Very good brawler in competitive and has been for a very long time. He's decent against the meta brawlers, which is probably his one thing right now that doesn't push him even higher. He does an okay job. He doesn't really have a favorable matchup. He just kind of has an okay matchup. If you play it right, you're going to win, but you could also play it wrong and lose. And finally, he doesn't really have any negatives. That's probably his biggest negative, is just the fact that he's not super good against the current meta. But he definitely is a brawler that's top 5. I think should be a little bit higher, but right now, he's going to be the number 5 brawler in the game. Let's finish up this game here with this random shot, and let's hop into the number 4 spot and show you guys who the number 4 brawler in the game is. So coming in at the number 4 spot, we are going to have Tick. Now, Tick, by far, in Brawl Stars history, is the most annoying brawler in the game. Maybe with Beta Crow. That's the level of how toxic and how annoying Tick is. Tick is definitely one of the most toxic brawlers in the game. He's decent against basically all the brawlers as long as you play him correctly. My favorite part about Tick is he has a multi-dimensional super. You can use it as a shield. You can use it to push somebody back. You can use it to destroy tanks right in front of you. You can use it in a lot of different ways. He is definitely the best thrower in the game. He has very good range, especially for a thrower. He is very spammy. The two negatives that he has is he has low HP, but he definitely has to have that low HP to compensate for the rest of the things that he's really good at. And the only unfortunate part about Tick is he kind of has some interesting star powers. They're not the greatest. They're not terrible, but they're more or less just average. Tick definitely could be the best brawler in the game, or top 3 even, but because of his star powers, I don't think he is right now. That's going to be really quick for Tick. There's not much really to talk about, so let's hop into the top 3 and tell you guys what the top 3 brawlers in the game are. So hopping into the number 3 position, we're going to have Sandy. Now, originally, I thought I was going to put Sandy at the number 1 spot, but then I started thinking a little bit about ladder and less about competitive. By the way, I passed him the ball there because that guy was AFK. Don't think I was auto-aiming that. He's just really good in competitive, so I wanted to put him number 1, but then I started to think about ladder and I started to think about a few other brawlers, so I decided to leave him at number 3. So he is the easiest brawler in the game to play, hands down. Really easy shot to hit, really easy super to use. Everything about him is easy. Very simple brawler that can actually be very complex at the same time. He is decent against all brawlers, doesn't really have a weakness, doesn't do great against tanks, but you can keep your distance, and doesn't do great against range, but you can try and sneak up close, and does fairly well against everything in between. He has he's the best non-star power brawler. So what I mean by that is just if you're not, power 10 with your brawler, you're maybe power 9, power 8, power 5, power 7, whatever it is, he is the best brawler that is a free to play brawler, which means if you have him and you don't have star power, he is the best brawler in the game, 100% hands down. He does have a top 5 super in the game, which is really important. His super is one of the most annoying things, up there with like tick shots and stuff like that. It's super annoying. You definitely don't want to deal with a Sandy super. Facing a Sandy is always super annoying. He's a very consistent brawler. You're going to kind of find yourself doing the same with him every game. Not going to be doing too bad with him any game, because that super, once you originally get it, you're just going to start cycling and get really good with it. He is good in all modes besides bounty, which is a plus. And I forgot if Sandy was a she. And if she is a she, or if he is a she, or whatever it is, I'm just going to call it a brawler. This brawler is good in all of the modes outside of bounty. The only downside with this brawler is that the star powers are not very good. They're a little bit annoying, but the star powers could be better, and that is why this brawler will not take the number 1 spot. So now I had a really hard time deciding who I want to give number 1 and who I want to give number 2, but let's hop into number 2 and let's show you guys what the second best brawler in the game is right now. So coming in at number 2, the number 2 brawler in the game is going to be Mr. P. Now, Mr. P is the second most annoying brawler in the game, coming behind our homie Tick. He has a super annoying super. It's really good, very spammy, very good in Siege, very good in Gem Grab, very good in Brawl Ball, just really good to annoy people with, good against shotgunners, can be used also as a tank. It's multi-dimensional. 2 very good star powers, although I would highly recommend using the first one, just because the super, you're supposed to put it in the back and just constantly have things come up slowly and spam. So it's really not in a position where it's supposed to take damage anyway, so the second star power isn't really that important. I would definitely recommend using the first one. Obviously, he can shoot over walls, which makes him really good, basically like a thrower, even though he's not a thrower. He can also have that double hit, which can do 1960 damage, I believe, which obviously is amazing, and he's very hard to beat on lane if you're facing somebody who can play him correctly. So this is the number 2 brawler. Now, before we go into number 1, I'm going to give you guys about 10 seconds to guess what the number 1 brawler in the game right now. He's definitely changed the competitive meta a ton. I did predict he was going to be the best brawler when he was released, and he was released being like the worst brawler in the game. So it was a really good prediction by me, but to be honest, some other pros did see it coming as well. So let's hop into the number 1 brawler and show you guys who it's going to be. Coming in the number 1 spot, we are going to have Max. Now, Max is an amazing brawler. He is definitely, hands down, the best brawler in the game. Well, not hands down, it's kind of close, but he has a very easy argument to be the best brawler in the game. He synergizes very well with every other brawler in Brawl Stars. He is a Brawl Ball specialist, which obviously is very important. He is a top 5, 6, even maybe 7 super in the game. We still don't know the full effect of how good his super can be. But he definitely is amazing. Above average speed, which is really rare for a brawler such as this. That isn't really a tank or like BB with star power or a Crow or something like that. It's really rare to have a brawler fast like this. And speed is something that's really underrated and really important when it comes to Brawl Stars. Speed is actually very important. He's super strong, doesn't really have any negative attributes to him, and he has good star powers. And that's kind of the really important one. His star powers are really good. His damage is a lot higher than I originally thought it was. His shots are really easy to hit. He's auto aim friendly. He's aimer friendly. Whatever you want, Max is good at. And that is why he's going to be the number 1 brawler in the game. So that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tomorrow, we're probably going to be doing a what is the meta video, because we actually have a very interesting meta right now where we don't exactly know 100% what it is, because it's kind of split in between 2 things. We're going to talk about it and talk about how to make comps and how to adjust to the meta so you guys can win as many games as possible. But that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys agree with my opinions, let me know in the comment section down below. And if you don't, also let me know in the comment section down below what I missed or what you think should be changed. I always like seeing those comments, interacting with you guys. So anyways, I'm doing premieres every single video, so make sure you guys are here for them. The premieres are awesome. They're really good. But that's going to be it for today's video. So I hope you guys enjoy. That's going to be it for today, and I will catch you guys again tomorrow. Peace.